Hello, and thank you for stopping by the Massachusetts Beer Review. I am Thomas Meadow 75, and this is your Massachusetts Beer Review, live with the Louisiana Beer Reviews to examine the Old Foghorn Barleywine style ale. We were going to review this on the Louisiana Beer Review channel this past Wednesday, but family type emergencies came up, so we're going to do it now.
Yep. And then we had scheduling issues.
And availability of this beer seemed like it might have been even a bigger issue for
the rest of the group. And I talked about that on my revisit, which I'm going to post probably Tuesday. I try not to I'm kind of like you. I try to just maybe post one video a day, because if you flood the market, people get sick of your face.
Yep. Especially if you keep having the same beer review up multiple times that you've tried the beer, I should say.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, because I got.
I mean, if you review the beer like 4 times, 4 consecutive days in a row, and keep putting it up.
Question your mental state, but
right.
People do like when man, it's cloudy now. People like the revisits, but
you got to have a little bit of time in between them so you can really formulate an opinion, and not have it so back to back to back. Maybe that might judge your opinion.
You mean cloud it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't have the bottle. I threw it away, but I have this one. I'm aging.
Sweet. Yeah, mine is from 2014. I think it says it was made in April. I'm not really sure. It says 4, which is 2014, and it says LA next to it.
Yeah, and mine is 3, so that would be 2013, eh?
Awesome.
So I got. I'm gonna try to go 5 years on it. And this one says 9.4% alcohol. And what does yours say?
10% version. I don't know if anybody can see that there. Yep,
10%.
10%. The big old beer, and I'm gonna try it in a snifter style glass that might not produce the biggest amount of head, but at 10%, I'm not really looking for a gigantic head.
Like when I sat outside in the yard and I poured it in this goblet from this company. You may have heard of this beer. Have you heard of this beer?
Never. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, it's very popular. Used to be really popular. But anyway,
used to be.
It didn't get any kind of head, I don't have a snifter. You've had this before.
I can't really tell, but I think it's yeah. Actually, it might be a little bit cloudy and sediment rich. A little bit. It's just kind of murky.
Yeah, that's what I said in my video. I said it's murky.
Murky, like
murky. It looks like that Crayola burnt sienna.
Yeah, sienna or something. Yeah.
I think I have that right here. Let's see. Crayons. No, mahogany. Maybe it is mahogany. I don't know.
Something like that. Something. It's not really purple, but it's sort of towards that sort of shade of red or orange or something.
Here we go. Here's a crayon, burnt sienna. Yeah, it really is that color.
Huh. And I do notice some. It's not overly carbonated, but I'm kind of surprised I notice as much carbonation as I do. And it looks nice, and the head is obviously not all that big or impressive, but I wouldn't expect that.
I had some little bubbles clinging to the bottom of the glass. What about you?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm noticing. I'm noticing them streaming up towards the top of that glass. So, I mean, I would definitely give that high praise for how it looks. It looks very inviting for sure.
Yeah, and I think the one I bought was $2.50 for the bottle.
Yeah, they have these for $10 and change at my local store, and I think it's probably around the same price for a single as well.
And look, I had a barley wine from Goose Island the other day that was so ghastly. I hated it, and John Sharon was like, "Are you crazy? That beer's great." I said, "Maybe it's great to you, but to me, it tastes like coconut and rubbing alcohol."
Yeah, it's a very big, almost overly complex beer that very complex. Every time you take a sip of it, you get something different out of it.
It tasted like duck sauce.
Yeah, I've heard that before, actually.
I like duck sauce on egg rolls, but I wouldn't want to drink 17 ounces of duck sauce. Okay.
Exactly. Now, as far as the nose is concerned on the, I almost called it Bigfoot, on the Old Foghorn,
yeah,
it has a very sweet, like candied type sugariness. I guess the way that we described when I did the Bigfoot with you on your channel, It kind of has that almost turned dark fruited kind of quality.
Yeah, to me it's like plums and prunes and figs and dates.
And there's definitely some kind of molassesy or brown sugary kind of a sweetness in there.
Yeah, I was saying it was like Domino light brown sugar.
Yeah, some brown bread, I guess. Yeah, I can definitely smell that. It's a highly malted beer. It says they use a blend of two-row, pale, and caramel. And yeah, that's the other thing. You do get a caramel and a toffee kind of a sweetness. But it smells very inviting, and it's, overall, I think it smells smells clean, if that makes any sense. It doesn't have any weird or funky sort of a smell to it. I think it just smells the way you would expect an English-style barley wine.
Yeah, it just smells like a really super concentrated ale.
Exactly.
Like with a whole lot of barley and a whole lot of hops. Think of Fuller's Vintage Ale. It's not that unlike Fuller's Vintage Ale.
Yes.
It'd be like if you took Goose Island Honker's Ale and you gave it radiation like the Hulk and it became the Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Honker's Ale is like Bruce Banner and this is like the Hulk.
Yes. Yeah. And you normally will find that, I think just stylistically, that if it's an American IPA versus a British IPA or a English-style barley wine versus an American-style barley wine, the English version is usually going to be a little bit, to me, it's usually going to be a little bit softer, more mellow, and it's most likely going to have less of a bitterness to it than in a hopped component than the American style. But
yeah, but that Fuller's Vintage Ale does have a strong hop aroma. Flavor.
Yeah, true.
But
I'd say let me get a sample of some 2014 Old Foghorn and see if what I'm saying might be correct about it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go catch the phone, and you tell us if it's worth $250. We know what you're gonna say.
I will mute Jay for the moment. The Old Foghorn is actually at 10%. It's actually unbelievably drinkable. It has that syrupy type sugary slickness. Let me get you the taste profile that I am detecting from this beer. I do get a brown sugar molasses type sweetness. There's a big yeasty, doughy type of bready component that I'm receiving out of the flavor profile. There's definitely something yeasty. I don't know how to describe that. There's something yeasty and earthy about the beer. It's not so much a hoppy, bitter beer to me, but it's got that yeasty, grassy, almost an earthy kind of component to it. And then those fruits, Jay was saying plum. I'm definitely getting that plum in that raisin, maybe figs or dates or something like that. Maybe even a little bit of that alcohol soaked sort of a red cherry or dark cherry kind of a component as well. It's in a very, and I think that's the style. It's a very malt forward beer. The malts and that oily type, medium bodied, almost full body type slickness is there. It's actually surprisingly to me, it's surprisingly on the crisp side, which is nice. Helps to clean out the palate a little bit. It does finish on the sugary sweet side, and then after a while it does dry. So that's what I'm getting at the moment from that beer. Pretty good stuff.
Sorry about the phone call, and I agree with everything you're saying. Actually, what you're saying is almost identical to what I said in my revisit video, which won't be posted, like I said, for a couple of more days.
And our vintages are a year apart.
Yeah. Well, wait now. The one I just did was 2015.
Oh.
Still a year apart.
Yes. But you're still getting those, but basically we're still getting the base components from the beer a year in age and fresh.
Yeah. I just received the most astounding phone call. My father
telemarketer, right?
My father called me and he said, apparently the Giants weren't listening to us. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said the game is now tied 35-35.
Really?
I mean, literally, when I started messing around with this beer, I started messing around with it because it was 35-14 Panthers, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't want to look at this anymore. This is a farce. This is a joke. Well, that goes to prove one thing: don't ever think it's over because you might get tricked. So
Exactly.
you might be missing one of the greatest NFL games ever, but that's all right. We're drinking one of the best beers ever, so it evens out.
Now, that last sip that I just took of the Old Foghorn, it's sort of almost in a way, and I don't know if you might be able to explain that or elaborate or maybe disagree. That's cool. I almost noticed like a Belgian quadruple ale, kind of a yeasty and that dark fruit kind of a quality thing.
What?
And a little bit, there was like almost for that brief moment, you sort of get a little bit of those components with a little bit of a sour for a brief moment. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy about that, but
Maybe a Tripel.
yeah, maybe something like that. I mean, Belgian in
But they don't have any sugar. Those Belgians cheat. They add sugar.
they almost add, I think a lot of those beers they add what is it, like a candied sugar or something like that.
Candy sugar.
Yeah, they don't mention any of that stuff on the AchorBrewing.com.
But look at that label carefully at the bottom of that label and read what it says.
Well, it could mean anything. Ale brewed with, in quotation marks, natural flavor.
How you like that?
I was watching a beer review. I don't even remember what I was watching a little while ago this afternoon, and somebody was reviewing a beer that said that, and then somebody commented, well, poop is a natural ingredient. Is natural. It comes naturally out of the earth or whatever it is. It's natural to all of us. So is really natural such a great thing to be listing on your bottle? It's up to your interpretation what you think of that.
Well, your video commentary is as disgusting as mine. I was talking about throwing up, vomiting, puking, but
all of that. Well, what I'm trying to say is the word natural can mean a lot of different things.
Right, but look at if you look at the Anchor website carefully, they say they use barley, they use these Cascade hops, they use an ale yeast, of course they use water, but it doesn't ever say they use only that.
Right.
It's just saying they use that. So that's making me think, well, maybe there is some candy sugar in it. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, they can't really disclose the whole story of the beer, although
now they're putting on the label ale with natural flavors. What is that telling you?
It's telling you there's things in the beer, and just believe it. Believe us, there's things in the beer.
But whatever they are, it does taste like sugar.
Yep. They use
you cheaters.
They use Cascade for both dry hopping and just hopping the beer. So
right.
It's not. I mean, that might be giving it a little bit.
It's sugar.
Now that I think about it, there might be a little bit of a grapefruit or a pineapple, but just very, very light. It's not the whole story. The whole story to me is that sugary sweetness. It's very, very malt forward, and it has what I'm trying to say, and it has that dark fruited quality. To me, that's the whole story of the beer.
Yeah, and I noticed S.A.B. Miller started about a year ago using the Cyclops method of describing beer, which is a simplified method. You might be aware of that if you look on the S.A.B. Miller website.
Yeah.
And the way like the Tusker lager, which I think you're going to love, by the way. That's a great beer. But
awesome.
And I can get some too. They said that they'll show sugar cubes. And I think this beer is 4 out of 5 sugar cubes, and I think it's 4 out of 5 hop cones. It's hoppy and sugary, but they come together. They don't clash. They cooperate with this beer.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely. I think to your point, it's definitely this Old Foghorn is definitely not one-sided. It's not too much of one thing over the other. I mean, barley wines in general are going to be a sweeter style of a beer, but I don't think any one component, including the sweetness, really is over the top or too much as far as the style is concerned. If you don't really drink barley wines, like a lot of people that I may be friends with that watch these beer reviews or press the like button on Facebook when I post them, they might not drink barley wine. So maybe if they drank the beer, not so experienced people in these kind of ales might think, wow, that is just like eating raw cane sugar. Some people might think that, but
It tastes like a sweet spiced cake.
You know, that is a really good description of that. Yes.
With alcohol.
And I bought this beer,
A rum cake.
This 2014 one, by the way, now that you mentioned that, I did buy as part of the beers I had with the relatives on Christmas last year. And I think with you saying that, that just makes it seem like it's more of a beer for, you know, the wintertime and that kind of a holiday, the holiday season in December. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like Merry Christmas. Here's your Anchor 4-pack.
Definitely.
6-pack. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they come in 6-pack.
Anchor 6-pack.
I think for what you get, it's got to be one of the best values in 6-packs because it's like $10 and change for a 10% beer in 2014.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbeatable.
Good beer at a good price. I don't know if I really mentioned what I thought about the mouthfeel, but I think it's medium towards full. It's got a little bit of that slickness, sugary, oily kind of a slickness to it. It's definitely crisp. I think Anchor is describing the beer as having champagne-like bubbles, and I would actually tend to agree with that statement.
Yeah, I think it's a rather full mouthfeel. It's like a rum cake. It's a great value. It's one of the best values in the world of beer. Okay, think about that. $10 for a 6-pack of a delicious barley wine when I paid $10.99 for almost undrinkable 16.9 ounce bottle of barley wine. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's the better value.
Yeah, and I get nervous going to the beer store because I want to try some of these Dogfish Head. I don't want to. Well, okay, I will. Dogfish Head. There we go. I said it. Some of these Dogfish Head beers are like in my area, they're around $16 or $17 just for the cork and cage 750 milliliter bottle of it. It's like if I love it, that's gonna be the value for my money that I actually really like the beer. If I don't like it, I feel like I wasted almost $20 on one singular bottle of beer.
When I went to Baltimore County, Maryland, and I was at Montgomery Plaza Liquors on US Highway 40, I bought the Dogfish Head Palo Santo Mataron, which is 12% aged in that Palo Santo Mataron wood.
Yes.
Awesome beer. I had the Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA and the 90-minute. They were great. And they were not expensive in Baltimore. It was like, or the outskirts of Baltimore. It was like really cheap. But
I just bought a 6-pack of the 60-minute IPA the other day for $8.99. I thought that was a pretty good price.
Yeah, and but they didn't have the 120.
Oh, 120 in my area. When it was there, the 120, they were going $13 just for a 12-ounce bottle.
Oh no, never mind. I'll just imagine how good it is.
I had it once.
I'm tired. Oh, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm tired of getting ripped off. Sorry.
Exactly. So I think part of my conclusion of this beer review would be going along the lines of what Jay was just saying, tired of getting ripped off. If you're tired of getting ripped off, you want a bigger alcohol percentage beer, not for chugging or doing 40-ounce beer challenges with. And you want an exceptionally tasting beer at an exceptionally awesome price. And for a barley wine in a 6-pack, you cannot go wrong with this Old Foghorn. I will give the beer, I think I will give the beer a straight A. Not an A minus, not an A plus, just straight up A, like a 93 or 90, maybe 90. Yeah, 93. 93 out of 100. There you go.
Well, on my revisit, I gave it an A plus. I thought it was an outstanding beer. I mean, good. If I drink a beer, okay, like if I drink a beer like this and everything about it is good and nothing about it is bad. It's 100 or close to it. I mean, it's like people say it has flaws. Oh yeah, what are the flaws? There are no flaws. There are no flaws.
I think the flaws, at least in me giving it like a 93 or 94, not even an A plus, would be what I mean. Flaws in a beer that we have both really absolutely love come down to just personal preference. Everybody's got. You got to remember this. This is a online beer review. My thoughts and opinions and Jay's thoughts and opinions are gonna be different and can be different than everybody else that tries the beer, and that's what's awesome about doing these beer reviews. We may have differences in opinions. That's cool. we may actually align on our opinions, and that's really awesome. But again, I give it an A. Jay gives it an A plus. That doesn't mean anybody's wrong. But again, I think the only flaws that can be found in this beer are personally what you prefer in a beer or within a beer style. That's about what I would think the flaws would be. Now, personally, I think it could be a little bit, a tiny bit more hoppy and a little bit more malty. But again, if they did that, they would have to call this thing an American style barley wine and not an English, and make a whole new beer called, American Foghorn or something, or Foghorn Leghorn or something.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to drink it every day. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I think this is the perfect time of the year to drink it. Right
now.
Now.
When I ate lunch today, I had like a soup and with a lot, and it was really hot, and but I drank Milwaukee's Best Premium with the soup, and it went really well. So
Love that
now
beer.
people are gonna say, "Oh, you're cuckoo now."
I love that beer. Come on.
Milwaukee's Best is a really good everyday drinker.
Yes.
If you drank this every day, you would get sick of it really fast. So, or you would become an alcoholic and live in the street. So
it would be a quick way to become an alcoholic.
Yeah. So it's like I would not want to drink this every day. Like I said in my video, if you drank it once a month, it'd be pretty enjoyable.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give this beer that 93 to 94, an A range, almost. It's pretty much borderline an A plus. And Jay's going to give it an A plus. So we got, I guess, to average that out, it would be an A, sure. Overall, this beer discussion will give this Old Foghorn from Achor Brewing an A overall. And I don't think we even mentioned it. I don't even think we mentioned it. And I apologize for that. This is a really special beer for the sole fact that it was first brewed in 1975, and it's still considered to this day the first American barley wine that was ever brewed in America.
Yeah, and they said that I have a book, and they were talking about it. They said it was first commercially brewed in Great Britain in 1870 by Bass. You know Bass.
Yeah.
Which got bought out by InBev, but they said it was called Bass Number One, Bass Old Number One, and it was a barley wine. I don't think they make it anymore, but they said there's another brand of a barley wine over in England that Coors makes every now and then. They'll produce it every now and then. And Coors makes a barley wine.
And that's in England. That you're talking about that beer's in England.
Right. It's like, hey, Coors, we're here in America. Why don't you produce it here? But you see, the problem over here is people will say, Coors, I'm sure it tastes terrible, but they won't even try it. It's like, how do you know it tastes terrible? Like, it might be awesome. They make the Worthington's White Shield IPA.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Coors, that's right. And it's a great beer.
Yeah, I'm really liking this beer. Really liking this beer.
Yeah, I have an update. The Panthers did beat the Giants 38-35, but anyway.
The Panthers beat the Giants. The Panthers now are still the only undefeated team in the NFL. Too bad for my New England Patriots. Too bad for that. But anyways, we got all of that information out that I forgot. Awesome. We're going to give this. Go ahead.
I am not against the Patriots.
Okay.
I prefer the Saints because of my location of residence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I respect the history of the Boston/New England Patriots. Okay. Now, this beer is really a treat, and awesome. my last word on it is, if you, the viewer, have never had it before, you need to get it. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to cost you a lot, and you're going to love it. I think.
I think though. I think it was it was Beer Geek Nation. Chris Stelt said, for nothing else, for no other reason to drink this, if you don't drink this beer, if you don't want to pick up this beer, for no other reason you should drink the beer for its historical significance within craft brewing, and especially if you've never, I don't even care if you've never had Old Foghorn. If you've never had any beer by the Achor Brewing Company, get yourself some Achor Brewing beer. They are a historical craft brewing place in San Francisco, and within the American brewing scene, they are world renowned. A lot of people think of Sam Adams Boston Lager as being that first real beer.
No.
I mean, I mean, Sam Adams got the craft beer scene really revolutionized because I think in 1978 or 79, Jimmy Carter signed a law that said craft brewing is now, home brewing is now legal. So a lot of people got recipes together and they started home brewing them, and then they kind of went commercialized. I think that's how the Sam Adams Boston Lager came about. But these guys were brewing on a commercial type level, Achor Brewing, and they're brewing these kind of beers.
Since 71.
So just wanted to end on that note. Look at that lacing. Look at it.
And I like to watch Chris Stelz, and I like his videos. My only gripe against him and a few, and I can name the other ones too, is that do not answer comments. They treat people like they're garbage, and that bothers me. You know, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Okay, you got 200 million viewers and subscribers, and President Obama calls you every week about your videos. That's wonderful. Okay, all right, you're the big time. Okay, that's great, but you could at least answer people's comments. And so that, and I'm sorry to do that on your channel. I'm sorry.
Fine, go right ahead.
But in my 5+ years of video beer reviews, I have had a problem with people.
Vlogging. Video blogging almost.
Yeah, I've had a problem with people that do not answer comments. It's like, wait a minute, who are you? It's like I sit down every day and take time and answer everybody's comments. Now, sometimes I'll tell them stuff like, I don't really understand what you're trying to say. Like, it confuses me what they're saying. But to me, it's just so rude to not answer comments. And then another problem is if you answer comments in an offhand way, like, thanks, cheers. It's like, wait a minute, I did not talk about that.
Oh.
So, you know, but I mean, that's my little rant. But I don't want to be one of those people.
Yeah, commenting and replying to comments, getting together on Google Plus and doing these kind of reviews, writing on Beer Advocate, sharing photos on Facebook, going out responsibly to your local pub or bar, or going to the concerts or theater, or supporting your local musicians and having a brew or a beer in responsibility with your friends and family is a really, really, really fun thing to do. And I like to have that. I like having that dialogue and that discussion and talk about beer with people.
That's how you and I got together before in all our little group, you know, all our little group, from commenting back and forth to each other.
Yep.
You know, it's like, I'm sorry, you are not that special to not respond to comments.
You're not above it. Nobody really should be above anybody else in the beer community.
Oh, hey, shouldn't be, but anyway, thank you for inviting me to this video examination.
Absolutely. This was I forgot about this beer for a year. I will have to buy this beer every year. It is phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, every year, really, no joke. Just like the Achor Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's beer, you got to get it every year. You got to.
That's another beer, and I see it all the time, and I just don't go and get it. I don't know why. And I always toyed with getting that huge magnum of that Christmas, Merry Christmas beer. I never get that Christmas.
Look, I was at Stein's Deli, and I was at Dornax, and they had a bottle that was big like this. It was like two.
Yeah, that's the magnum. A magnum bottle is, I believe, 55 fluid ounces of beer.
No, this was bigger than that. This was over a gallon. It was like 128 ounces.
It was bigger than that Magnum. Wow.
Yeah, it was like $135. It was like this huge.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. That Magnum of beer, that 55 fluid ounces of beer, I looked for it the other day when I was out buying beer, and I didn't see it, and I kind of was a little bit upset, but oh well. It's like $19.99 for 55 fluid ounces of this beer. And I have to assume, and it would get shared with my family. They like beer, but I have to assume that that's got to be, again, it's got to be one of those phenomenal beer deals. You're getting such dirt cheap price for an amazing amount of fluid ounces of beer, for God's sake.
Right. And when we get offline, I'll show you a few beers that I've got lined up.
So we are going to wrap up, we give this beer an A average, A+ for Jay. A average for me. This has been how do I say this at the end of my videos, guys? This has been Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. We'll see you soon.
And think locally, think globally, and drink locally. And that's another peace out. Oh, wait. Sorry, wrong channel.
Wait. Well, what do they say on these videos? Rate, comment, and subscribe.